Are you concerned about the R5 and R6 overheating? Are you waiting to see if there's going to be a firmware or hardware fix on the way? Well, I've got something you're going to want to hear. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Welcome to The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss out on any news. And all the links to everything I talk about in this video, including gear discussed, are placed in the description down below, along with the current contest details for the Canon EF 50mm f1.8 lens that I'm giving away. There has been an awful lot of talk on how quickly the EOS R6 and Canon EOS R5 overheat when recording video in some modes. And a few videos even go on to say that it overheats after about an hour of photos. Well, you can get an hour of photos in, but then if you try to switch to video, you might only get a few minutes of video time. Now, once the camera does overheat, there is a lengthy time that it takes to cool down the R5 and R6 before it can be used in those modes again. You can still shoot photos, you can still shoot 1080 and 4K 30. And whenever I report on this issue, I tend to feel a little bit like a hunted seal being chased down by a great white shark. Anything published on overheating, be it for the R6, R5, or even A7S, draws out some nasty comments no matter what angle I take. Today, I have some good news for Canon customers, so I'm not expecting any nasty comments. Canon Rumors reports that Canon might just be working on a solution to the issue. Gregg, the owner and editorial director, says, "I've been told that Canon's actively working on solutions to increase record times and reduce cooldown times. What those solutions are is unknown at this point. I imagine part is firmware, but they might also be looking at a hardware fix." Let's not get too excited right away. This is a rumor, first and foremost, and it's not a statement issued by Canon. Now, Gregg, through Canon Rumors, has a very good track record of being accurate. But if you notice, he didn't classify this one as a CR2 or CR3, which he normally gives a rumor when he believes it to be from a trustworthy source and considered fact. Most of us would be happy to see the same level of recording times that is received by the A7S III when shooting inside, not outside, but when shooting inside. Multiple YouTube presenters have shown that the A7S III can record in 4K 60 until the battery runs out when filming inside. The R5 gets somewhere around 20 to 30 minutes depending on the temperature in real life tests, but most of the times it's around 30 minutes. We'd also like to see the R6 record in 4K 30 without overheating at all. I mean, the R5 can do it, right? So where's the problem? And Canon, please, please, please remove the record limits altogether. All they serve to do is get in the way of the customer experience. A firmware update is most likely, but what about a hardware fix? Will we have to return our cameras to an authorized camera center? It's all speculation, but I think a firmware update is most likely. Canon Rumors goes on to say that the first batch of R5s is sold out, and we're not going to see any more available until November. I have trusted sources that say we will see more cameras before November. We're actually going to see some in August. Dumping a bunch of cameras in July and nothing again until November doesn't look good on the earnings curve, so keep your eyes out and I'll update you whenever I hear otherwise. And if you are going to buy an R5, please use the links that I have down below. I have contact links for Downtown Camera, B&H, or Amazon. If you're going to use Downtown Camera, I highly recommend reaching out by phone to Patrick. Patrick's been really great to me. And speaking of Downtown Camera and Patrick, well, today I was feeling a little bit more like myself. I'm able to get around better. Sure, I still feel like somebody punched me in the gut, but it doesn't take me 10 minutes of walking around to straighten up. And I did go for a short drive today, and I did feel a little bit of a sharp pain, so that reminds me that, you know, I'm not completely there, and I still do need to be careful, so I'm going to go through my regular regiment of small walks and resting and laying down. But I do have something to show you. I picked up a couple of things at Downtown Camera this morning. So let's take a look. And these are all thanks to Patrick. So what I have here is, this is just a simple UV filter, a B&W UV filter that I'm going to put on this Canon EF 50mm. I said EF, 50mm. No, I'm going to put it on this Canon RF 24-105. So I understand that by putting one of these UV filters on, it can change things a little bit. But here's the thing. This is not a cheap lens, and it's probably one of the cheapest ones I have. I'm a bit of a klutz, so even if there is a slight chance that it could interfere with filming sometimes, I always put these on. I've had it on my 50 millimeter f1.2 since I got it. Basically, whenever I buy a new lens, I always put one of these on just because, like I said, I'm a bit of a klutz, and if I just sort of turn and bash into a doorway or something, this $100 filter takes the hit instead of, the lens. I also got this EF to RF adapter with the control ring. Now, I just wanted the basic one. It's the cheapest one because essentially I'm behind the camera, or I'm in front of the camera the whole time, and I just don't really see the need to it. But this is the only one they had in the store. They didn't have the regular one, and this was the last one left. So I took it because I want to start filming with the 50 millimeter, and we can see how good that looks on the R5. So I've got that. Oh, and one more thing. Yep. Got the R5 again. This one I purchased with my own money, but a special thanks to you guys, because if you weren't watching my videos, I wouldn't have the ad revenue to be able to afford this. So this everything I bought today, including this lens that I bought a couple of weeks ago, is all thanks to the revenue that's come through YouTube. YouTube revenue has covered this 100% with about $200 left over. So a really heartfelt thanks to you guys for watching me. I couldn't afford this without your support. All right, so let's take a look. Now this is just a receipt. We don't need to see that. This is Patrick's card. So Patrick, again, at Downtown Camera, he was great. I called up around May because I figured this could be a very popular camera, and I asked if there's a waiting list. And he said, well, Simon, you're the first person called, so you consider yourself first on the list. And sure enough, this is the first day that the R5 is available for purchase. I was the first one down there. I was the first one to buy it. And so thanks a lot to Patrick at Downtown Camera. He's been great all along. And one thing you guys should keep an eye out if you're looking for lenses, every now and then these guys have sales on lenses. I got this for about $200, $250 off. It might still be on sale. Now, I'm not going to quote you the Canadian price because everyone pretty well understands US dollars. This cost me about, I think it was around $850 US, which is pretty good. I think this retails normally for, what is it, $10.99, something like that. So I did save some money off this. So what do we have in the box? Yeah, I'm going to use this to redeem and get my Canon jacket. I'm not sure, they have a special name for it. So that's awesome that I've got that. This is warranty registration information. And here's the manual. Look at the size of this thing. So I'm going to keep this, I'll keep this one in the box. Go to Canon Rumors. Over the last couple of days, they have released a PDF version of this manual on the R5 and yesterday on the R6. And I highly recommend downloading those because it's so much easier to search for what you need. The manual is really well laid out. And the pictures are in color in the PDF version. So definitely take a look at that. And I do recommend reading the manual. I learned a few things going through it myself. I even read the warnings where they talk about if you take it outside in the winter, so how do you protect it? Put it in a Ziploc bag, bring it in the house, that kind of stuff. All right, you also get a USB-C cable. So we've got that, a battery, and looks like I'm probably gonna have to go and buy 2 more of these things. But the really good news is, do I have any up here? Yeah, so these PowerEdge batteries that I talked to you guys about before, the LPE6. I think these are just the LPE6. Yep, LPE6. It'll also work in the R5, but these are going to last a little bit longer, so, I want the extra recording time, so I'm probably going to get a few more of those. And of course, I have another Canon charger, which is good. You can never have enough of those. And let's put that down there. Straps, which I always do use that. And here we go. Here's the camera. It's different when it's yours. I don't have to worry about rushing. I don't have to worry about giving it back. Oh, that's got to be really rough on the microphone. I might have to blank that out. So here we go. This is the R5. I'm actually quite impressed with the size. When I got it, the production model from Canon last weekend and tried it out, I was actually quite impressed with how it fits in the hand, how easy it is to hold. You can walk around with it like this, even with a lens on. Just the way your thumb fits, everything is lined up really nice. And I have rather long hands, pretty big hands, so this is a really good size for me. They could have made the body a little bit bigger, and I think I would have been just as happy there. They probably could have made it a little thicker too, and it might have helped with the heat, but it's a good size. It's about the same weight, believe it or not, as my Canon 70D. I think there's maybe only 20 or 30 grams difference. So it's also a bit of a sad day too, because I'm actually saying goodbye to my 70D that's been, and it's recording us right now, that I've had for 7 years. But I'm not getting rid of it. I'm going to use it for B-roll. Sorry I didn't have any B-roll for today, but, you know, we'll have more of that in the future. Then there's plenty of views of the R5 online, so you don't need a lot of close-ups of mine. But I'm really excited to, you know, put this camera through its paces. I'm curious, in the next video, my plan is to shoot in 10-bit, see how that goes. I've already downloaded the codecs. Sorry, not the codecs, the LUTs. And what I plan to do for my next video that I shoot, I'm also at the end, I'm going to have a behind the scenes where I'm going to take a look at how you go ahead and apply the LUT, download the LUT, and really what the difference between the full-to-full LUT is, the difference between the narrow to full. And I had a few comments in my last video where I talked about this. They downloaded it and they said, look, Simon, I'm only seeing the full-to-full. Depends on which one you download. So I have two links. There's one that goes, and you can just go to Canon's website. If you go to the 24-105 f4, you can go ahead and download the LUTs there, and it will only have the full-to-full. But if you go to the EOS R, which is a slightly older version, you have more options. You have the full-to-full. I think it's the narrow to narrow and narrow to full. So that's what's available there. But I understand that it was a bit more of a show me type video, tell me type video, and I personally don't work very well with those. So my next video, what I will do is take you behind the scenes and exactly show you what the difference in looks is, and is it noticeable enough. But I do take you through, for this camera here, if you're shooting 4K, if you're shooting 10-bit, then you definitely want to use the middle size, which I think is around 33, and if you're going to be shooting 8-bit and 1080, then, you know, use the lower grid size. And the highest grid size, you're not going to need it. Now, in terms of LUTs, this is something else to be aware of too. This camera here will use Rec 709 and Rec 2020. Now, Rec 2020 is only for 8K. So if you're not planning on using 8K, not a big deal. But you are going to need that Rec 2020 for 8K. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you'd like a chance to win this Canon EF 50mm f1.8, I will be conducting the, I'll be concluding the contest on the 31st of this month. And then over the next couple of days, Saturday and Sunday, probably Sunday, I will have announced a winner and I'll let you guys know who that is. And as far as to protect your privacy, I'll mention it on one of my videos who has won it. I'll use your YouTube name, and then I'll recommend that you contact me through Facebook, so that way we can keep your information private. You don't have to give out email or any other information. But again, thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. Thank you guys for enabling me to get this camera, this wonderful camera, to put it through its paces. This is my first full-frame camera, and by all measurements, this is a professional level camera. People who buy this camera do it because they rely on it for their living. And quite often, a lot of people who buy these don't just buy one, they buy, you know, at least two. I know one gentleman who does a lot of video, and he's ordered 6 of these things. I couldn't imagine paying for 6 of these things. To me, that's the price of a new car. Anyhow, thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.